obviously the final didn't go as we hoped. I think that's very clear to everyone. We hoped we could compete better against G2, but today they just outclassed us, and sometimes you just have to be honest with yourself and your team, and they were just a better team today. And I think Europe should be proud of having a team like G2 to represent them for an international tournament. So I'm excited to see how they can do. Obviously, it's very bittersweet right now. It's not. I'm not a happy man. Let's put it like this. But looking back at the split and the growth we made, I'm very proud of what we have accomplished. So it's bittersweet, but it's all right. Playing yesterday 4 games against Fnatic, we put a lot of energy into the series. We after the series you're absolutely devastated, like you're completely drained from energy. Also the night I think we all had like a little bit of poor sleep because you were so filled with adrenaline and stuff like this. So but it's no excuse. I think we were ready for today, but GT was just better. I think G2 is probably the best team I've seen in at least in my time in Europe. They are very flexible. You see sometimes some crazy stuff where you're like, what the hell just happened? But I mean that's why it's so entertaining to watch them play, because they surprise you, and it's also why it's super annoying to play against them, because it's very hard to prepare for what they're throwing at you. So yeah, they're super. I don't want to swear, but they're really good. And I think we're just lucky to have a team like this in Europe that we can train against and learn from. So we are still a very new team. So I think for us it's just a learning experience to hopefully get closer to their level. Fun fact, we actually knew that they were going to play this funnel strat, and we were actually ready for what they were going to throw at us. We in the draft we knew about what could happen, so I think for the crowd it was very surprising, and for the viewers as well, like what can you still play that? But we actually knew about it, but we just mis-executed the game. We actually had a pretty good idea of how to counteract it, but there were some small fights that could have gone either way that kind of just made the game very hard for us. So we're not surprised, but it was very unique. Yeah. I felt like we had the skill in both players and staff to get to that point, and we at the start we were not over pushing our like how far we can go. Like we were not pushing it that we have to go to the final or something like that. But we were very moderate. We wanted to go to playoffs and see how far we can go, because it's not always about just going to playoffs. It's more about what kind of form are you going into playoffs to. Like can you actually compete? And we went into playoffs and could compete with every team except G2. So I think that's a pretty good statement to make in our first split together. So. I know that when I will look back at the split, I'll be proud of what we have accomplished, but it obviously feels bad that we couldn't make G2 sweat a little bit more for the victory. It was kind of too easy for them, so that I'll be a little mad about, but it is what it is.